The scrolls left by the fallen sage whispered of a clash that would shake the Jade Valley to its core. In recap, Martial God Asura, Chapter 27, Chapter 128, Asura stood amid the ruins of the Sunflower Fortress, bloodied but unbowed, as the echoes of his latest battle still lingered in the wind. Each shattered banner, each scorched stone, seemed to murmur secrets of vengeance and hidden schemes yet to unfold. Shadows twist along the cliffside paths where allies falter and enemies converge, and a silent storm brews in the heart of the young martial god. Tonight, destiny will demand more than strength. It will demand a choice that could redefine the path of all who follow him. The arena trembled with anticipation, and a tension thick as steel hung in the air. One moment, Ding Cho's blackened gold blade had been a blur in motion, then it skidded off the fighting stage and embedded itself deep into the ground. Blood seeped relentlessly from his left hand, marking the severity of his wounds. Even in that moment, the young warrior did not falter, but his struggle was painfully evident. Before him, Chu Feng stood resolute, his hands gripping a golden pike that shimmered with blinding radiance. It wasn't merely a weapon. It was a vessel of raw martial might, infused with a golden light that radiated oppressive power. The air around him seemed to quiver under its aura. You said, as long as it isn't a rank 5 martial skill, you could cut it down. Chu Feng's voice rang out, calm yet unyielding. So now you shall witness what a rank 5 martial skill truly is. Gasps erupted from the crowd. The golden pike gleamed as Chu Feng's power manifested, a rank 5 martial skill, the rarest, most demanding of arts, wielded with an ease that defied his youth. Eyes widened in disbelief. Murmurs spread like wildfire. Heavens above, could someone so young truly command a rank 5 martial skill? Normally, one needed not only an extraordinary body, but also unparalleled comprehension to cultivate such techniques. Most disciples spent years, sometimes decades, striving to unlock even a fragment of this power. Yet here stood Chu Feng, bending the impossible to his will. Is he a genius? The sort the world sees only once in a century? Whispers rustled among the spectators. Every previous doubt about his presence on this stage evaporated. Where some had assumed him a mere filler, a weakling, he now shone as a prodigy beyond imagining. Even the disciples of Golden Purple City felt a pang of shame. They had looked down on him, but now he eclipsed them utterly. Mark my words, one observer murmured. The Azure Dragon School will rise with him. Its reputation will no longer be second-rate. A disciple like this can change everything. Chen Hui and others felt a surge of hope, yet Chen Wanxi's gaze remained sharp and wary. Do not be deceived. Ding Cho is no ordinary fighter. He claimed first place in the Lingyun School's core disciple exam. That alone tells of his strength. And a year ago, he slew a monstrous beast, she added. He has had time to grow even stronger. Rank 5 skills are not unique to the Azure Dragon School. Lingyun has its share as well. The crowd's excitement twisted into unease. Ding Cho's past triumphs painted him as a formidable genius, a force whose true limits remained a mystery. And now he was poised to strike. A sudden roar erupted from Ding Cho. His aura surged violently, rippling with a fierce, almost tangible energy. Even the wound in his hand began to mend as layers of origin power swirled around him like a living armor. The stage beneath him quaked, fissures spreading as the very earth felt the tremor of his cultivation. Observers cried out in awe. He has reached the peak of the second level of the origin realm. What martial skill could manipulate one's own essence so dramatically? Chen Wanxi's eyes gleamed with disbelief. It is the murderous 7 injuring fists, the most arduous and potent rank 5 skill of the Lingyun School. Ding Cho's stance widened. The ground bore the imprint of his legs as he summoned every ounce of strength, forming a fist enveloped in semi-transparent origin power. It surged forward like a tempest, a strike that seemed unstoppable. Chu Feng reacted instantly, his golden pike whirling in defiance. The collision of power unleashed a thunderous boom that split the air, a cyclone of energy rippling outward to consume everything in its path. Ding Cho's cold voice cut through the storm. This is only the beginning. Let me see how you withstand the next wave. Fists followed fists, each a concentrated burst of origin power, each as terrifying as the first. Chu Feng's lips pressed into a grim line. He conjured a golden shield with his left hand, a brilliant barrier that flared with energy as it braced against the relentless onslaught. Boom! 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 The golden shield shuddered under the repeated strikes, weakening with every impact. Chu Feng gritted his teeth, channeling spirit power into the shield to sustain it against Ding Cho's murderous seven injuring fists. It was a desperate battle of wills, a clash where every heartbeat counted and each strike could decide life or death. The arena, the spectators, even the very air seemed to hold its breath as two prodigious forces collided. In that moment, every onlooker understood this was more than a duel. This was a legendary contest where the young genius Chu Feng and the relentless Ding Cho would carve their names into the annals of martial legend. The storm of fists and the shining golden shield were but the opening act of a battle that would shake the foundations of the Azure province. The arena fell into a sudden hush, as though the world itself were holding its breath. A single question rippled through the crowd, taut with disbelief. He blocked it? The spectators' hearts skipped, for the attack unleashed was no mere display, it was the origin power fist, a technique of staggering might. Even seasoned masters felt the weight of its force and treated it with grave respect. For Ding Cho's murderous seven injuring fists were far from ordinary. They were a pinnacle of rank 5 martial skills, honed to perfection and capable of devastating anything that dared oppose them. Yet here, in defiance of expectation, Chu Feng had halted it, Chen Wanxi's brow furrowed, her voice tight with unease. This cannot last. Chu Feng cannot withstand this for long. The murderous seven injuring fists are no trivial skill. He underestimates its power at his peril. Her words struck true. Though Chu Feng's defense had held, he had only maintained his position. Counterattacks were beyond him. For now, the battle was purely defensive. The air around Ding Cho shimmered. Charged with a sudden ferocity, his origin power fists flared with renewed intensity, speed and force surging as though the heavens themselves lent their strength. Each blow collided with Chu Feng's golden shield, sparking like miniature explosions. Step by step, Chu Feng retreated, every movement a battle against the immense pressure. Why is his strength so immense? Chu Feng's voice was tight with struggle, his gaze unwavering. Against ordinary foes at the second tier of the origin realm, victory would be certain. But Ding Cho was unlike any opponent he had faced. Every move radiated lethal precision, a force that defied simple reasoning. Here stood the most formidable adversary Chu Feng had encountered among his peers. Inside his mind, Eggy's mischievous voice rang out, teasing, "Need a hand, genius?" Chu Feng shook his head, resolve hardening. "No. I will rely on my own strength." He would not reach for external aid, not yet. This was a test of his limits, and he would endure it through his own cultivation. A surge of spirit formation power radiated from him, enveloping the golden shield. Its sheen deepened, its hardness multiplying. The murderous fists of Ding Cho, despite their raw might, could not pierce it. With renewed confidence, Chu Feng's right hand coalesced into a golden longsword, spiritual energy boiling through his veins. No longer retreating, he advanced. The spectators gasped, "He's moving forward, against the murderous seven injuring fists." Shock rippled through the assembly. To hold against such overwhelming martial skill was already near miraculous. To advance against it, unthinkable. The clash had transcended mere competition. It had become a confrontation between true geniuses, a display of supreme potential among the rising stars of the assembly. Chu Feng pressed on, shield in one hand, sword in the other. Origin power fists shattered against his defense, yet he stepped unyielding, each stride shaking the platform, leaving deep impressions etched into the ground. Every advance cost him tremendous energy, a toll of both body and spirit. Yet determination blazed in his eyes, flickering like lightning. This was Chu Feng at his absolute peak, his will unbroken, Su Hen's brow knit in disbelief, tension marking his formidable features. How? How can this be? He's only at the 8th level of the spirit realm. Even Su Ru's mouth fell open in astonishment, witnessing strength that defied all expectation. Ding Cho's rage ignited anew. "You dare resist my murderous seven injuring fists?" His aura burst outward, expanding, intensifying, as his cultivation leapt to the 3rd level of the origin realm. Power swelled around him like a rising tempest. Whispers spread among the onlookers. Did he conceal his true cultivation, or is this his genuine strength? No, he didn't hide it. This is the might of the murderous seven injuring fists, elevating him to this level. Chen Wanxi's disbelief was plain. Even a genius like her could only pale in comparison to Ding Chou's mastery, for the martial skill he wielded was a treasure of the Lingyun school, beyond the reach of ordinary disciples. Gasps of astonishment echoed. A martial skill to elevate one's cultivation to the third level? Such power is unimaginable. Chen Hui and others could scarcely contain themselves, their admiration and fear intermingling. Yet Chu Feng did not falter. His aura remained steady, his march relentless, even as Ding Chou's strength surged. Observers' complexions shifted, stupefied by the sight. Here was a young man at the eighth tier of the spirit realm, holding firm against a foe whose martial skill had escalated to the third origin level. This, this is monstrous. Chu Feng, is he even human? Murmurs of awe passed through the crowd, faces pale, hearts trembling, as all witnessed the emergence of a true prodigy, a genius whose legend was being forged in the crucible of battle before their eyes.